Good morning. In our previous video, we understood the definition of a tissue. We broadly classified tissues in terms of plant tissue and animal tissue. We also classified further plant and animal tissue, and we studied about, under plant tissue, we studied about meristematic tissue. Under meristematic tissue, we further divided them in terms of apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. We also saw the location of this meristematic tissue in a stem. So in today's class, the second classification of a plant tissue, that is permanent tissue. We will study about permanent tissue. Under permanent tissue, it is further classified in terms of simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So in today's class, under permanent tissue, we will be studying simple permanent tissue. So let us see now, what is a simple permanent tissue? Basically, what are permanent tissues? We discussed a brief and meristematic tissue, that is once the stem attains the particular stage, that is once all the cells are grown, they attain the particular shape, size, everything, they stop their growth and then they get converted to a permanent tissues. So permanent tissues are the tissues formed by those cells which have attained a particular stage of growth or which have attained further, there is no cell division in them, they cannot divide further in them. So permanent tissues are made up of such type of cells where the cells will not regrow again. They attain a particular level. So we call them as a permanent tissue. Now what are the basic features of permanent tissues? So permanent tissues basically lose their capacity of the division. So based on this or based on their structure and composition, we further divide this permanent tissue in terms of two different types. I will just write that. So here we had under simple permanent tissue. Okay, let me write simple permanent tissue. So based on their composition and structure, we again classify them in terms of protective permanent tissue. I just write protective and the next is supportive. Okay. Under protective tissue, we have epidermis and the next is cork. Yeah. One more basic important thing about permanent tissue are permanent tissues are also made up of both dead and living cells. Okay. That you all should know. So it is also made up of some dead cells, different tissues under them. They are also made up of living cells. So which are dead cells and which are living cells? You will understand as we proceed further. Okay. Epidermis and cork. Now what is basically, we will only go very much in brief about these two things. But under supporting tissue, we will go in detail about that. Let's see what will come in this later. What are epidermis? In basic terms, if I have to tell you, epidermis is nothing but the outer layer, right? We have a skin. So what does the skin will do? It protects us, right? So similarly, if I take a stalk of a rose, right, and just sprinkle some water to it, what will happen? It will be wet. Like if you have a paper and you sprinkle water, the whole paper is wet. Similarly, if I just sprinkle water to the stalk of a rose, will the whole stalk be wet? No, the stalk will not be wet because the stalk have epidermis. Now what is this in simple? I have to tell you, it has a cuticle. So what do you mean by this cuticle? Outer covering. So what is cuticle made up of? It is made up of some waxy coating or a waxy layer. In simple terms, if I have to tell you. Why that waxy coating? So that it can withstand from all the other things, all the external factors, right? That is about epidermis. Next is cork. Now basically when I say cork, it gives the mechanical support, I can say, or it also acts as a shock absorber or an insulator. Now same thing, our skin acts as a shock absorber. Now for example, we feel cold, but what do? We actually wear a sweater or we keep ourselves warm, right? But what do dogs and animals do? Do they feel cold? Of course yes, but not as what we feel, because we can safeguard ourselves inside our house, but the animals cannot, the plants cannot. So they have a certain layer outside which will act as a shock absorber to them. That comes under protective. That is why the word protective. It protects the stem, or in this way, right? So next we move on to supporting tissues, are very important. So there are three supporting tissues what we have to discuss here. The first one is parenchyma. The next one is collenchyma. And the last one is sclerenchyma. Okay, so let's discuss in detail about these three supporting tissues. Where are they located? What is the cell wall in them? What about the food vacuoles in them? What about the nucleus in them? So all these things we'll discuss in a flow chart kind of a thing, so that it is easy for our understanding. So now let us understand the features of parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma in this tabular column. So basically when I talk about the functions of parenchyma, the main function of the parenchyma, what I can say is, it can store food, right? And it also gives mechanical support. Right? It gives mechanical support to the plant. Now about the functions, when we go with the collenchyma, what you can tell here is, it gives flexibility. Right? So what other words, even apart from flexibility, this also will give mechanical strength or mechanical support. But when we talk about flexibility, what is flexibility? Now, do plants are stiff? No, right? They move, right? Suppose if you just, again let me take an example of a rose stalk only. If a rose stalk is there, I want to cut it. Is it that very easy? I just break it and it breaks? No. You feel that is breaking, but that will not break, right? So what is actually stopping that? If you actually see, when you are trying to break that stalk of a rose plant, the green color one is flexible enough moving there, but not breaking. And what is happening? If you remove the outer layer of it, you see some yellowish white color. The outer layer is nothing but here epidermis. So what is happening? That part will not break. It gives flexibility to the plant. In other words, what we can tell here is, yes, one second. Mechanical, I wrote it wrong. Right? Then sclerenchyma. What is the main role of sclerenchyma? Sclerenchyma gives stiffness. It gives stiffness. Now stiffness in the sense it is a hard. Now have you seen a seed, right? Have you seen a coconut husk and all, like it gives the stiffness to the plant. So these are about the basic functions what we discussed. We only discuss about in this flow chart or in this tabular column the basic function, the space, how is the cell wall, then what about nucleus and vacuole and few other things only in brief. Again, we'll study in depth about parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. But if you understand this tabular column, you can understand much better about its depthness again later. Let me talk about intercellular space. Again, intercellular, let me take back you to the first chapter where we studied about intercellular space, force of attraction, yes. Now here I will tell about, this is somewhat intercellular space. If I have to draw this, right? This is like this. What about in this? This is intercellular space. Can you make out what I am doing? Right. And here, this is intercellular space. Okay, I'll draw this of the same signs, otherwise you will get confused. So this is intercellular space. So what did you see here? Here there is lots of space. Here there is a space, but not as much as this, but a little space. Here there is no space at all, right? Now again going back to this, what did we say? It can store food. Where it can store? If it only has intercellular space in between them, it can store food, right? Otherwise it cannot store. What about here? Here also it can store food. When we talk about photosynthesis activity, these two will come in this, where they can prepare their food, right? So both, this also can store food, but not as much as parenchyma. When we talk about storing food, we first gave the rating to parenchyma. Also collenchyma in a little manner, right? Here, there is no question at all. So what I can say is here, intercellular space is more, intercellular space is less, and intercellular space, no intercellular space. Again, this will tell you about the second function. There is no intercellular space, that is why it is very stiff. Now let's go back. Solids are very rigid because this is the arrangement, molecular arrangement in solids. Solids are very rigid and hard, right? The same thing here. Okay. So this is about the spacing in between them. Next, let us come to cell wall. Now, when we talk about cell wall, let's start from sclerenchyma. It will be much easy for you so that I can take it that way. Since it is very stiff, it is very hard. So how should be the cell wall should be? What is cell wall? Cell wall is the outer layer of a plant cell, right? Absent in animal cell. So cell wall is basically made up of what? Cellulose. So I can say this has a thick cell wall, right? Now what are basically cell wall made up of? Cellulose, but this here in this part along with cellulose we can see another material in which it is made up of, that is called as lignin. Now what is lignin? Lignin is like a cement or like a cementing material, but we cannot write it is a cement. Example, it is a cementing material. What is a cementing material? What happens if you apply a cement to somewhere? It becomes very hard like substance. How is the husk of a coconut? Very hard, right? The outer part. So that gives a thickness to the, so it has a very thick cell wall. The outer layer is very thick. So which is made up of lignin. What is lignin? It acts as a cementing materials, right? So when we come to the collenchyma, cell wall is thick but in the irregular shape. In the irregular part means only at the corners they are thick, not everywhere. But here it is thick throughout. Here the cell wall is thick only in the corners point of view. Parenchyma, they have a thin cell wall. Okay. So now when we talk about this cell wall, here this parenchyma is made up of a living cell. The cell wall is made up of a living cell. What about collenchyma? Of course, they are preparing food. Photosynthetic activities happening in them. So these are also made up of living cells. What about sclerenchyma? They are very hard. They are made up of dead cells. Okay. Now when we talk in terms of nucleus, since this is living cell and living cell, nucleus is present here in parenchyma. Nucleus is also present in collenchyma. What about sclerenchyma? Nucleus is absent. There is no nucleus because it is made up of dead cells, right? Now let's talk about vacuoles. Now about the food vacuole, where the food can store. Majority of the food is stored where? In a parenchyma. So we have a very big vacuole here. I will just write big. We have a vacuole. Okay, let me write small. What about the last one? There are no vacuoles in this. So this is a bit in brief about what is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. How are they? What are their functions? What is their intercellular space? Based on their functions and intercellular space, how they are correlated. What is the cell wall? How are the cell wall thick? If they are thick, how it is irregular? And if they are very thick, then that means it is made up of lignin, a cementing kind of material which gives rigidity to the cell. When we talk about whether they are made up of living cell and dead cells, in the beginning itself we told, when we talk about permanent tissues are made up of both living and dead cells, right? So here parenchyma is made up of living cell, collenchyma is made up of again living cell, whereas sclerenchyma is made up of dead cells. In terms of nucleus, since these two are living cells, so nucleus is present. Since it is a dead cell, so nucleus is absent. Food vacuole, since vacuole, large amount of food is prepared here, so they have a very big vacuole. They have vacuole but not as big as parenchyma, and there are no vacuoles present. And if you actually see, further parenchyma is again we divide that, which comes here in functions itself. We divide that in terms of chlorenchyma, not collenchyma, chlorenchyma. CHLOROENCHYME, chlorenchyma and arenchyma. CHYME. So chlorenchyma, arenchyma. Now if I have to tell, chlorenchyma is where photosynthetic activities will take place. Chlorophyll, what we talk here. Arenchyma, we'll go in detail about this when we are studying this again. Just in brief if I have to tell you. Arenchyma is something where it is in most of the aquatic plants. Right? Again, in the aquatic plants, they have a cuticle, that is a waxy coating layer. So, this is enough what we have discussed in this. Parenchyma, further we call it in terms of chlorenchyma and arenchyma. Chlorine is different from colon. Yes? So, this is about the features of, in brief, the features of parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. About much depth about this, we will be again studying this in our next class. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.